How's it going, Faith Church? Pastor Ryan here, recording today's installment of Monday Mindset. And as I was thinking about what to discuss for this, I've been studying the book of First John as we're getting ready to teach through that with the student ministry, and came across a couple verses that I just thought were encouraging and challenging to me as we're going through this strange season we find ourselves in. And I just want to share them with you and share a few thoughts, hopefully encourage you, but also challenge you on how you can be leveraging and resourcing the things that God has given you in order to be a part of His mission and His heart during this season. So these words come from First John chapter 3, verses 16 through 18. This first verse is so common. We've heard it a lot. It says, "By this we know love, that He," speaking of Jesus, "laid down His life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brothers." So by this we know love, that He, Jesus, laid down His life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brothers. And here it's not just talking about physically in the same way that Christ physically died for us, but listen to how he goes on to explain what it looks like to lay down our lives for the brothers. It says, "But if anyone has the world's goods," and here think of money, resources, time, stuff, groceries, toilet paper, right? Whatever. "If anyone has the world's goods and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how does God's love abide in him? Little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and in truth." So I just encourage you guys to think about reflecting on this. If anyone has the world's goods, which we all certainly have, right? Even if we're struggling right now, I almost guarantee you that by you certainly thinking historically, we've been blessed with so many things. We have so many resources at our fingertips. We've been blessed with the world's goods. But listen to this, "and sees his brother in need." Well, guys, unless we just want to close our eyes and hide, there's people in need right now. And so if you don't see anyone in need, I'd encourage you to maybe look around a little bit more. Ask your neighbors a little bit more. Reach out to others a little bit more, because there are people in need right now. Example of that is we're doing this drive right now for the Navajo Nation. We know that there's need in that. But it's not just that they see that there's need, but listen to what is warned against here. "Yet closes his heart against him." Guys, this is so easy to do, especially when we're not struggling. It's really easy to look down to those that are in need, and this is where our self-righteousness and our pride can well up so easily. But here in God's word is warning us not to close our heart against him, because it's saying when we do that, a really hard question is to ask is, how does God's love abide in him? Friends, if we love God, and if God's love is abiding within us, that is naturally going to overflow in our love and care and concern for our neighbor. Now, that doesn't always look the same, but in this text, it gives us a really tangible example. If anyone has the world's goods and sees his brother in need. Well, brothers and sisters, as we set off on this Monday mindset, I just want to ask you to contemplate, to consider, to talk with your spouse, what world's goods do we have that God might be encouraging us to leverage to meet the needs of our brothers and sisters, of those in our community, and maybe in those on the Navajo Nation? If you need more information about that, feel free to reach out to the church and we can get you more information on this. But God has given us so much, and if we have the love of Christ abiding within us, how can we think about and strategize and give to where there's need? So I encourage you guys, talk about that as a family. And if you're struggling right now, one of the things I've been so encouraged by is we've had so many people reach out to the church and say, "Hey, we're willing to help. Just let us know how." And we haven't had that many people reach out to the church and say, "Hey, I have this need." And so if you have need, know that there's godly people in our church that love the word, that have Christ's love abiding within them, that want to give and want to be generous. And so please don't be too proud to ask for help. There are those in our church that would love to do that. And so if you have needs, please reach out. And for those of us, really all of us, I'd encourage you in some way, what are some aspects of the world's goods that you are in possession of that God would so place on your heart to give to those in need? So I encourage you to think about that, pray about that. And my prayer is that God's love, which is abiding in us, would become very tangible and very visible to our neighbors and to our family during this season, and how we are giving and generous. Faith Church, know that you are loved, and I pray that you would be just an incredible witness of God's gospel and love in your heart and how you give to others in this season. Thanks, guys.